Hello, everyone. Welcome to another new episode of Nothing to See Here podcast. This is episode 5, I believe.
Yes,
We
episode
should
5.
just stop trying to number them because we're gonna forget at some point.
Well, it's easy in the first week to remember because we're uploading every day,
Mm-hmm.
and we've only made it through. Well, Hannah's gone twice with 2 phenomenal episodes about gay vampires. Well, only one episode about gay vampires, but
Give Life of Luxury some time. There might be a gay vampire
that's
eventually.
true. Gay Vampire and Life of Luxury. And then Amanda, you had your first episode about
Mhm.
therapy speech.
Yeah.
And we're on our second episode, but we should introduce ourselves before we get into the topic. Hi, it's Frankie.
It's Hannah.
And it's Amanda, who's very much missing the weather of Florida.
Hey, this weekend's been pretty nice compared to the rest of the weather you missed out on, so
Mm-hmm.
shut it
Been
up.
pretty warm.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been freezing my ass off at work. I literally have blankets on top of me. I was at a meeting and all you could see was my face coming out from my Batman blanket.
Mood.
So I've been very cold. But
But this podcast is about to heat up, so
it is, yes. So last week I had mentioned that since I was in Disney, I wanted to go through all of the Disney movies. I'm pretty good at like going through at least all of the animated ones, but there were some ones that I had never fucking heard of before.
yeah, Amanda wants to start a 90-year project on the podcast.
Yeah. In anticipation for this episode, I did watch the 3 movies that I had planned on reviewing, which were Snow White, Pinocchio, and Fantasia. Right, the original Fantasia, not the 2000 Fantasia. So I did watch all of them. However, as I'm watching Snow White, actually, as I'm watching all of them, I have this like little fun little booklet thing that I'm writing all this shit down on. And Snow White took up like 3 pages of this booklet. So I don't think we're gonna get through 3 movies unless we want to make this like 5 hours.
Amanda,
So,
I'm gonna give you a little spoiler right now. We
what?
were never doing all 3. I was gonna cut you off so hard.
Fuck off.
I was gonna stop the recording and then just do an outro.
You're mean.
I am mean, but there's no way in hell we were getting through 3 movies in one night.
I had 5 pages of notes for one 30-minute video last week. I would cry if we'd had to do 3 full-length animated films tonight.
Mm-hmm. Regardless. So we're going over Snow White tonight. Now, has everybody seen Snow White? I'm gonna sneeze.
Not recently. I did not watch in anticipation of today's episode, but I did watch it as a kid.
Yes. Have we seen it at some point in our
I
life?
I rewatched it today in anticipation of the episode
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
because it has been years since I watched it, and I'm certainly glad I did because there was so much I forgot actually happened in that movie.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's a fucked up movie.
It's dark.
It's very
dark.
fucked up. Extremely fucked up. Now, before I start this, Snow White, made in 1937, gorgeous film. Artistically speaking, gorgeous. It was the first animated film that had like lifelike human figures walking around. Before Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out, there was a little short called The Goddess of Spring. If you guys have Disney Plus, you can look at it. It was during Disney's Little Silly Symphonies, and that was Disney's first attempt at doing like a realistic human kind of caricature cartoon thing, except it didn't really, it wasn't as lifelike as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There was still some like cartoonish nature. The woman's body kind of like molded and flowed, not like a human would. But this was a masterpiece, and it is like I think rated as one of like the greatest films of all time. So, I mean, it is a masterpiece in that sense. The first thing I want to mention whenever I was watching this movie was the beginning. The beginning is just like basically all of like the credits, but at the beginning with like a nice little fun little song instrumental thing.
Beautiful
Uh
song.
huh?
I said beautiful song, beautiful score the whole way through.
Yeah, it is really pretty for sure. Why don't we do this anymore?
Beginning credits.
Yeah.
Amanda, I had the exact same question.
Yeah, because nobody stay unless
Unless you're watching 5 Nights at Freddy's, which has a post-credit scene.
right, unless you staying for like a post-credit scene and you know a post-credit scene's coming up, nobody fucking stays for it. So that's just so nice to see that they're like, oh, this took so much time and effort. Before the movie even starts, you're gonna sit through this shit. And you know
I
how much time and effort it took.
I also like it for animated films, especially because the animators are like the real stars of those films.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people don't stay for the credits, so they don't get to know who the animators are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The animators in this film too literally observed somebody like singing and dancing and like we're drawing off of this like person like singing it. Oh my god, it's so cool. If you ever can look at like behind the scenes of when Disney actually did like hand drawn animation and watercolor and stuff like that, do it. It's really cool. So I think we should do that in more movies. I'm just saying.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think one, you're giving the people who made the movies like the attention that they deserve. And two, just it's fucking cool. Like the instrumental, I don't know. There was
It's
something about it that just like vibed with me.
it's like in the opening of old musicals
Mm-hmm.
when they play the score for like all the big songs that are gonna come up.
Yeah, the
They
overture.
keep
Yeah,
they keep
that's
the
the word.
overture in.
Yeah, the overture. I like the overture. I think they should include that in movies too.
Yeah, I don't.
Movies like this, not all movies, but like, you know.
Yeah,
I have
obviously not like Born Ultimatum, although that would be really funny.
no, I think it should be really light, classy, instrumental overture. And then it goes into the most fucked up horror movie.
Anyway,
Hashtag bring back overtures.
bring them back. Next up in the movie, it opens up with this really pretty book, right? It's the storybook. You can buy this book at Disney World, and it's a journal thing. And I really wanted it, but it was $50. So
Worth it.
it's on my Christmas list if anybody is curious what to get me for Christmas.
Yeah, in case any fans are wanting to get Amanda a Christmas gift a year in advance.
I was talking about Hannah.
I was just about to say if a fan wants to get me one too, that'd be great.
Anyway,
I will keep it in mind though, because I don't know what I'm getting anyone for Christmas.
I believe Frankie has already bought my Christmas.
I have
book.
your gift already. It's sitting in my house.
He's on it. Book shows up, right? They open the book. As soon as they open the book, there's some text. They don't read the text out to you. You have to read it yourself. Which it's fine, I guess, but a bunch of kids are watching this, and I guarantee you they can't read in this weird little fancy little text thing that they have. I know I sure as hell didn't.
But it's good for them. Reading comprehension skills.
Yeah. So, once upon a time, there lived a lovely little princess named Snow White. By the way, Snow White in this movie is 14. 14. Just saying. Okay. Her vain and wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that someday Snow White's beauty would surpass her own, so she dressed the little princess in rags and forced her to work as a scullery maid. I guarantee you, no kid that I know knows how to spell or even read.
They don't have to spell it, so that's fine. That's good for them.
What about scullery? All right. When you were 5, did you know the word scullery?
I don't know the word scullery now.
Each day, the vain queen consulted her magic mirror. Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? And as long as the mirror answered, you are the fairest one of all, Snow White was safe from the queen's cruel jealousy. Now, at the end of this little book thing, there's like a fun little like embellishment on the book. and a little dagger, which is just fucked up a little bit. This is a Disney
Foreshadowing. It's
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
it is foreshadowing, but it's fucked up. I'm allowed to say it's fucked up.
But it's a beautiful dagger.
It's pretty. How do you know? You haven't seen it in years.
We
All the
just
animation's beautiful.
discussed that the animation in the original Snow White, the original animated Disney film, is stunning beyond compare.
I have a question for you, Amanda, as you're the Disney expert.
Yes.
Does Snow White also have a shitty straight to video sequel?
Don't believe so. No. I mean, she was. So the princesses all had like this princess like DVD type thing that I remember getting as a kid. That was like, we have to get ready for this princess thing. Yeah, they Disney made things like that, but there was no exclusive like Snow White.
Yeah, well, that's different. I'm like Cinderella had like sequels.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
Shit sequels.
Nothing like that.
Excuse me,
Well,
the third Cinderella is a banger. What are you talking about, Frankie?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really like the second one.
Oh my god, I'm surrounded by.
I really liked it because Anastasia got a little
That's
lemon.
my favorite
Baker.
story.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that when I get to it.
In
We're not on
20 years.
Who knows? You know, Pinocchio. I didn't have a lot of notes for Pinocchio, so maybe we could get to it next time. So who knows?
I have another question before we continue.
Yes.
What fucking government is this? Because Snow White is a princess. They say she's a princess. Therefore, that means her dad was the king because the evil queen is her stepmother.
Right.
Yes.
So therefore, the stepmother would have been queen consort. She wouldn't have been queen in her own right.
This is a different kind of government.
Yes. What kind of government is this where the throne did not pass automatically to Snow White?
Well, maybe they don't let minors on the throne.
Okay, but Snow White would still be queen technically.
We can have a regent.
Well, yes, but the evil queen would be considered the dowager queen, and Snow White would be considered queen herself.
Here's
so what the fuck is this government?
Here's my hot take, Hannah.
Thank you.
The dad still fucking alive. The dad is just fucking alive and just doesn't give a damn.
That's funny. I like that.
I like this hot take. Please continue.
Nowhere do we hear the dad is dead. We don't hear that the dad is dead, right? That's not said at all.
It's heavily implied, though, I thought.
I didn't hear any implications about it.
I didn't hear a single like implied thing. There wasn't like, oh, remember when your father was like this great king, or like none of that shit. So this dad
they never mentioned him at all.
Right. He was just never mentioned, except that Snow White has a stepmother, which ergo means that Snow White's dad married her.
Yeah, we have confirmed that, yes.
I'm not sure, and like this is such an old fairy tale and it goes back so many centuries, you know, word of mouth, that type of thing. I'm not sure if in like the Brothers Grimm he's dead or if he's alive or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if Disney like wants us to infer that, but I'm just going based off of what the movie is giving us. There is no mention of this guy being dead. So
there's no mention of him at all. Though.
I did a quick little Google search, Amanda.
What?
In the original version of the fairy tale, his fate is left unknown as he is never mentioned or seen again after his marriage to the evil queen. And he doesn't even appear in the 1812 edition by the Brothers Grimm, where the evil queen is actually Snow White's biological mother.
Oh, that's fucked.
I like that version better.
Yeah.
But
it makes a little more sense.
Disney
and we'll get to how my favorite ending too. We'll get to that in a minute as well. Well, not in a minute, but as you listen to this episode. So I truly think that this dad is alive and he is the king and he's ruling, and this woman, this queen, is just a queen like consort or whatever. But he's just like, do whatever the fuck you want. You want to dress my daughter up as a maid? Sure, why not? She's 14.
But Snow White is a bargaining chip. She is of marriageable age to be like sold off to the next kingdom to create alliances.
Yeah, but
so why would she be dressed as a scullery maid?
I don't think this guy's got a clue what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think he cares, to be honest. I think he's just like, does everybody remember the Fat King from Prince Philip's dad from Sleeping Beauty? How he's just kind of munching on things and like doing whatever.
Yeah, but he has a son, so it's a whole different thing. He doesn't really give a shit
but
about
I
anything.
just imagine he's just having a grand old time being king. I think he's still alive and that he's just doesn't give a fuck.
I accept this hot take, and I do like this hot take, but I just have so many questions about this government.
Well, you won't need to because the hot take, we're gonna go off of the hot take.
Okay. I will curb all of my government monarchy questions then.
Next up, the queen, right after the book, the queen is talking and she does the whole mirror, mirror on the wall thing. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, it's magic mirror.
Immediately calls the magic mirror a slave, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
No, yeah, slave in the magic mirror.
I mean, this was 1937.
Don't justify this.
I'm not. It's just, it was quote unquote normal.
I just didn't remember that, and so that line was dropped in my lap.
Yeah, that was interesting. By the way, magic mirror guy, creepy as fuck. Can we agree with that? He's just a weird face. He's got a weird face.
He's like a shadowy demon.
He's not a demon thing.
We don't know that.
I don't know what to call him, but he's got a weird face going on.
He's the magic spirit of the mirror. I don't trust him.
Really nice on the inside. Regardless, he just goes and tells he's basically like a little bit of a snitch. By the way, why are we calling a 14-year-old the fairest of them all? Can we talk about that for a minute?
Because she is of marriageable age in the Middle Ages, and she's a princess. Yeah. She's a bargaining chip.
Yeah. My concern is, why is the Wicked Witch upset about being the second most beautiful person in the world? There's a lot of people in the world. And you're second place? Come on.
Once you hold that title of number one, man, that stays with you, I guess.
But I would take second place of all the people in the world. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, well, obviously, this woman has some issues. Okay? She's got issues. All right? She's jealous of a 14-year-old.
Listen, this woman is probably 30. So in this time period, she's ancient.
And she looks good, though.
She does look good. She's just ancient at 30 in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Like, if I could pick any Disney character in the park to play, I would play either Maleficent or the Evil Queen. They would be so much fucking fun to play. So next up, after the mirror snitches on Snow White, we get to Snow White and she's scrubbing, I don't know, a courtyard, it seems like. I'm assuming it's a courtyard. There's like a little wishing well and she sings the like, I'm wishing song.
God, I fucking hate her voice.
The pitch is horrendous.
Fun fact. This woman who voiced Snow White, Walt Disney paid this woman so that she wouldn't like take other acting gigs or voice roles or anything because they wanted her voice to be exclusively for Snow White. But they paid her like a ridiculous amount of money. When I say ridiculous, I don't mean like a lot of money. I mean to not like take any acting roles. They only gave her like I think like 500 or something. I'm not an expert on this, so I'm not entirely sure, but like totally not worth it.
No, but I'm glad I didn't have to hear her voice in anything else. God,
I like it.
It grated on my ears.
Regardless, so she's cleaning, and for being in rags and shit, she looks okay.
She is the fairest of them all.
Doesn't look 14. Just saying. I don't know what Disney's doing, but so she's at the wishing well and she sings the fun little song, and all of these birds are like flocking to her or whatever. And I'm so pissed off because as a kid, I thought that if I sang really nicely, okay, a bunch of animals would just come to me and just be like, "We'll help you clean." This is lying to children, and I'm a little upset by it. Then all of a sudden, the prince, he's not given a name, but most people refer to you know what? I'll let you guys guess. What do you think his first name is?
I
Richard.
think okay, Ferdinand.
It is Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
I
Spanish.
remember that from before.
He's a
Yeah,
Spanish prince.
it is Ferdinand. From what I remember, I think it was mentioned in like the House of Mouse or something like that. He was given that name. I'm not entirely sure, but if you go on like the Disney wiki or whatever, Ferdinand's on there.
I
So
think it's the answer that comes up if you just Google what's the name of Snow White's prince.
right, yeah. So it
Mhm.
seems like it's Ferdinand, but
Can I drop a fun fact?
you can drop fun facts.
The first prince, Disney prince who actually has a name, is Philip.
Yes. What, Prince Charming? His name's not Charming? How dare you?
I really hope that is his biological like birth name.
What are you gonna name
That's what's on his birth certificate, just
what
Prince
are you gonna
Charming.
name your son? Charming. That's so fucked. Um anyway, this little sneaky dude is just eavesdropping. This isn't even his castle. Why is he here? And not only that, but he climbs over the wall.
He's a trespasser.
Yeah, disrespecting this
This is
castle.
where my hot take from last week comes in. I'm guessing it's still in last week's episode. I think.
I haven't done the editing, so I have no
Okay,
idea.
well, we're
We'll
going to
find out.
assume that my little hot take from last week was in there. Snow White and Ferdinand knew each other before the events of this film. Like theoretically, they are from neighboring kingdoms, or like at least like he's a noble, she's a royal, so like they would have like had interactions before. He climbs over this wall and shows up because he knows she's there. Like he knows where to find her to talk to her.
Yeah, but
So they
No.
she
no.
dips immediately. Like the
Yeah,
prince
but then she
shows
comes
up.
right back out and she's like,
no.
"Oh, I don't care what I look like."
No, she does care what she looks like. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, she primps for like a second and then comes down and she's like, "Oh, hey, friend."
I don't think so, because again, she's dressed as a scullery maid. The queen's probably not going to take her to like these little things, and the king apparently is off doing his own fucking shit.
Okay, but we
We're
don't know
dead.
when the king and the evil queen got married. You know,
I don't
these
think
two
she
could be
would be.
childhood friends and have known each other for years.
No, I don't think she would be as startled as she was whenever he just fucking showed up.
Okay, but he climbed over a wall. Like maybe she just wasn't expecting him that day.
She ran the fuck away.
He
Okay.
sprinted. She dipped immediately.
Yep, she did.
Yeah,
I mean,
she ran the
did.
fuck away. Me and Frankie are like really close, right? You and me really close. If I'm in like this secluded courtyard and you hop over a wall and then all of a sudden I'm singing in this well and then you suddenly show up and like appear and sing with me, I'm gonna be startled for a minute, but then I'm gonna be like, oh, it's you, and not run the fuck away.
Okay, fair. It was just a hot take I saw on the internet and felt like sharing. Okay.
I'm gonna say I feel like it's wrong. But
It
yeah,
was from TikTok, so probably.
but he shows up, interrupts her song, and she just like
God.
dashes the fuck out of there.
The real
And then
hero.
he has the most manly ass, weird ass voice compared to this little 14-year-old voice. It's so, I hate this duet.
Why? Because it's like operatic soprano one with a bass.
Yeah, no, it's, I don't, Frankie, you listened to it recently.
Man, I remember so little about this dude who shows up for maybe 3 seconds in the entire movie.
It's the one song thing.
Yeah, I know the song, but like there's so many better songs that I paid attention to. The
Anyway,
Dwarfs had a song I didn't even remember, so I'm more focused on that.
What?
I said
Oh.
the Dwarves had a song I didn't even remember they had, so I'm more focused on that.
What, the silly song?
The fucking cleaning song
Oh,
when they
yeah.
wash themselves.
You didn't know that one? Oh,
I
man.
forgot all about that.
So they sing their fun little love song to each other. Everything's nice. The queen looks through like the windows, gets pissed off, and like slams the curtains or whatever, and they like wave goodbye or whatever. So next up, automatically we're jumping to this queen on her throne, which her throne is a peacock throne.
Slay.
Which honestly, it looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. But she's talking to her loyal huntsman. This guy is loyal. And she's like, take her out to some secluded glade. And then once you're there, you will kill her. And she's like, you know the penalty if you fail. Right? And this dude at first is like, but the little princess. He's like, what the fuck? You crazy bitch. And she's like, nope, you can't fail. And in order to make sure that you're not going to fail, you're going to put her heart in this little box.
I miss Disney villains that are just evil. Just evil. She wants a girl's
There is
heart.
no redeeming this woman.
She wants a girl's heart put in a box.
You know how Disney did like Maleficent and they made us feel sympathetic towards her? I don't know how they're going to make me feel sympathetic towards this woman.
You can't.
Are they making an evil queen film?
I don't know. I know they're making a live action Snow White, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more backstory or something. I do not know. But the huntsman's like, yeah, I don't want to die. So, by the way, if I'm the huntsman, and we'll find out later if you had never watched Snow White, which I highly doubt, but maybe there's one person out there. He doesn't do it. If I'm the huntsman,
Spoiler alert.
I'm not gonna go back to the queen and give her a pig's heart. Yeah, I'm not gonna go back and just be like, yeah, here's her heart. It's totally her heart.
It's a smart play.
It is a smart play, but I'm gonna run the fuck away instead of just like giving her the heart.
But then she can send men after you.
Okay, and
If you give her a heart, if I gave you a heart, would you know if it was human?
maybe.
Yeah, see?
See, but in the Middle Ages, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She knows because the mirror snitches again.
Well, he doesn't know the mirror's gonna snitch on him. Come on now. He doesn't know about the mirror.
And how are the men gonna find him? He could just be really good at hiding. Huh?
He's a little rotund. I don't know
Don't be mean to this huntsman.
how
Anyway.
quick he's gonna get away.
Anyway, this little 14-year-old is picking flowers. As she's picking flowers, she sees this little bird. By the way, the animals in this movie are just so cutely animated. I kind of want this little bird as a pet, even though I have cats and they would eat him. Like, he would be eaten. Scary part coming up, right?
Oh, this terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, she goes, right? She's like, goodbye, bird, right? She goes, and as she's turning around towards this rock, the huntsman comes up with the knife, and he's holding it, and then his arm shakes, and then he's like, I can't do it. Forgive me. I beg your highness, forgive me, right? And she's just like, I don't understand. And then he snitches on the queen. He's just like, she's mad. She's jealous. You need to run. And then he's like, to this 14-year-old girl, he's like, run, go. And this girl just starts fucking running.
She understood the assignment.
She did. So I've seen some like really harsh things being said about Snow White in this scene whenever she's running through the forest and everything like looks scary.
It's a terrifying scene.
It is a terrifying scene. She's also 14 and was just told that her stepmother wants to fucking kill her. Not only that, she just witnessed a failed assassination attempt on herself. Somebody was trying to kill her. Of course, everything in the woods is going to look scary. So let's not bash the 14-year-old who's worried about dying and is wandering a forest that she's never been in. Sorry, I get really mad when people are like, yeah, she's so stupid for being scared of the woods. Have you ever seen a horror movie? The woods are scary.
If you're one of those people, please go look up Appalachia horror stories. That'll terrify you of the woods.
I think now is a really good place to mention. So Snow White, when Disneyland first opened, Snow White's Scary Adventures was there. And it was called Scary Adventures because it literally was just fucking scary. And like the witch would like jump scare you a bunch of times. Disney ended up redoing it a couple of years later because it was just too scary for kids or whatever. I fucking love that. Because at the end of the ride, you're supposed to, like, as Snow White die or something, like you get crushed by a boulder. It's fucking hilarious. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, I'm sure there's a Disney YouTuber out there who's covered like the original Snow White ride. It's messed up, and that was for children. And I think that's fucking hilarious. So after she goes through the woods, all these eyes that she was scared of turn out to be these cute little animal eyes. And this bunny, this cute ass little bunny, comes up to her. Right, Frankie, how cute is this bunny?
Pretty cute bunny.
It's a very cute bunny. This bunny comes up to her and he like sniffs her or whatever. And she's like, oh, and like scares the fuck out of all the animals. And then she's like, oh, I scared all of these cute little forest critters. She's like, no, don't run away. I'm sorry. I'm not going to hurt you. And then she says, I'm so sorry for all the fuss I've made.
She made a lot of fuss.
She was going to be murdered, Frankie. And then she, like, I'm sorry, but you don't know what I've been through. And all because I was afraid. Like, yeah. And then she asks the animals, what you do when you're afraid? And then she sings the smile in a song. Best part about this song, though, the little bird tries to harmonize with her, fucks it up, and his parents look just fucking upset with him.
It should be.
Anyway, so she asks these animals, she's like, do you know where I can stay? And the animals apparently know English and are just going to be like, yeah, we'll take you there. And they take her to this cute little cottage and she's like, oh, it's so cute. It looks like a doll's house. So she goes up, she walks by, she looks in through the window, which already kind of weird. I'm not looking at through the window in other people's houses. Frankie, when you come over to my house, do you look through the window?
I call you before entering, even though you tell me just to come in.
So she looks through the window, and then she knocks. She knocks, and she doesn't get any answer. So she just fucking opens the door. We're breaking and entering.
Well, she's learned from Ferdinand.
And she just comes in. Like, she just fucking walks in. But here's the thing. She walks in, but she doesn't go upstairs, right? She just calls out and checks to see if, like, anybody's there. And when nobody answers, she's just like, oh, I guess nobody's here. I would at least check everywhere. Then she makes the fucking animals, who are animals, clean with her. Because maybe if I clean this place, they'll let me stay. If somebody enters my house, right, but they clean my house, even though I didn't let them enter, I'm totally going to let them stay.
To be fair, I would. I'd be happy about it. I'd be fine with
I'd
it.
be like, do you want a soda? You want a cookie?
I'd be very appreciative if someone came and just cleaned my house.
Listen, I'm not dusting everything.
My house. At first, I'd be like, what's going on? Why did you come here just to clean? So they clean the house.
I'm not looking the skipped horse to the mouth, okay?
They sing the Whistle While You Work song. And then we move on to the dwarves in the mine. I've got a big problem here with these dwarves. Number one, they're using the word dwarf. Why?
Because it's the
'Cause it's
1930s.
1937.
I know. I don't like it. Snow White and the Seven Little People.
That can't. That's not a. It doesn't roll off the
How
top.
about we just call it Snow White?
That's good. I'm good with that. Not only that, but these dwarfs save Snow White. They
do. They save the movie. They're the best.
They are the
characters.
heroes of the film.
Yeah, they save Snow White. They keep her safe and everything. They like chase the witch to her death. Not love interests.
They shouldn't be. They're old men. What do you mean?
I'm just saying.
They're elderly fellows.
That doesn't mean that they don't
brought this
want
up
her to like kiss them and stuff. That's another weird thing.
Okay, but old men are perverts.
I just think
Are you old? They're white men too. Even worse.
these little people aren't considered like romantic heroes. They housed her, they fed her, right? They sang, they danced.
Well, she fed them.
Yeah. They pretty much fell in love with this girl. Okay.
That was like a familial relationship.
But it was never once even hinted or suggested that she could possibly fall in love with like a little person. Which is mean, because today actors like Peter Dinklage, like Warwick Davis,
Yeah, but I don't think the thing was like, hey, she can't fall in love with them because they're little people.
Oh, you think it's just because they're old?
I think it's just because they're the funny side characters.
But why are the little people the funny side characters, Frankie?
Why is the fish the funny side character
The fish?
in Little Mermaid? Why is there a little monkey running around in Aladdin? Why is the carpet? Why is there a carpet side character?
I'm
You
sorry,
need
can't the animals be the funny little side character? I mean, did we not watch the turtle do a bunch of shit in
the
this movie?
the animals didn't talk.
The dwarves really didn't talk all that much either.
Doc talked a whole lot.
Regardless,
He wasn't good at it.
I'm just saying, if this movie was made today,
Also, because it's part of the original story.
fine, 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 fine. So they're singing their little hi ho song. They're digging in the mine or whatever.
At least they got names here.
Yeah, they do have names.
The
I
original
just,
story, they didn't have names.
how rich are these guys, by the way?
Who are they mining for? That's my
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I want to know. There's so many diamonds and jewels and rubies and all of this. How rich could these guys be?
Not
But you know what the funniest thing to me is? Whenever it's time for them to like go home and stuff, they lock the door,
and
but then
leave
they
the
put
key
the
there. Yeah.
key right next to the door.
I don't think they're all that rich because they got a 1 bedroom house.
Then who are they mining for?
The king.
The government.
Yeah, they obviously are aware of the government.
And honestly, if the diamonds and rubies and such are so plentiful, that makes me think that the value of them is nothing. Hence why they leave the key.
I just think that's really fucking stupid just to leave a key. That's like me being like, I'm gonna lock my door to my house, but let me put the key right next to the door to my house.
Do you remember who left the key though?
Dopey.
It was Dopey.
Yeah, but there was a key hook there,
Yeah.
which leads me to believe that even if Dopey wasn't the one locking the door, they still would have put the key there.
Thus, the diamonds and rubies aren't actually that valuable in this society.
Anyway, so Snow White cleans up the house. She's going up to bed while the dwarves are heading home. And she's looking at the beds and she's reading all the names. And she's like, what funny names for children? And she takes up 3 child beds, which are 3 dwarf beds, I guess. Let me just say, I've slept in a toddler's bed before. You could fit in just one of them. It may not be comfy.
Long legs.
I have long legs.
I don't know what to tell you then.
I'm just saying, unnecessary. So the dwarves come back and they're just fucking freaked out that somebody's been in their house. As anybody would be. Grumpy says something like he knew something bad was coming. He's like, mark my words, there's like trouble brewing. He's like, I felt it coming all day because my corns hurt. And I think that's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna start saying that when something bad happens. So they come in and they're like, oh my god, things have been cleaned, but nothing seems to have been taken. Then the one guy's like, oh no, our dishes have been stolen. And they're like, no, they're in the cupboard. And Sneezy sneezes and scares the fuck out of them. And then they like all make Dopey go up the stairs, which is just mean. Because they're all like, we're right behind you. They're not right behind him. He goes in and he sees Snow White underneath covers struggling or something. I guess he thinks it's a ghost. So he like bolts it out of there. So they all go back and then they beat the shit out of Dopey. Frankie, do you remember this?
I don't.
He runs out, right? He runs out. He topples them off of over the steps, right? And they all run out. Because he toppled them, Dopey's trying to get out, so he's pulling at the door. When he pulls at the door, he loses grip, he pulls the doorknob off, and he falls and crashes into a bunch of things. So he's got like pots and pans on his foot and on his butt or whatever. So as he's making his way outside, the rest of the dwarves are like, all right, we're gonna get this person. They're like, now's our chance. And then they just beat the shit out of Dopey. They just beat him up until Doc's like, wait a minute, it's just Dopey, no worries. But they don't even apologize.
Why would they?
if I beat the shit out of you on accident, I would apologize. They think it's like this dragon or this witch or this demon or something, so they finally make it back up to the bedroom again. They're about ready to beat the shit out of whatever's there, and then they pull the comforter or sheet off and they like halt and they're like, oh, it's a pretty girl. Oh, she's pretty. And then she does a thing where she's like guessing everybody's names, and I guess she guesses them all right because they are the epitome of their name, I guess. Which, if somebody named me Happy, I would try my fucking hardest to be the most unhappy person in the world.
Yeah, but you're just spiteful. You're just spiteful, Amanda. Happy isn't spiteful.
Your name would be spiteful.
I feel like I'd be grumpy.
Grumpy, although want to note, noted woman hater apparently in this beginning of the movie.
He is very much just like women. They have the wiles. They'll get you or whatever. He's kind of like a
Okay, well, he has character growth.
He does.
A little. But my favorite thing is she has dinner ready. And then this woman who just this girl who just came in and is just like, hey, can you please let me stay? As soon as they're like, yeah, we'll let you stay because you cooked for us. She's like, all right, dinner's ready. Let me see your hands. And then she's like, you need to go out and wash your hands.
Yeah, because they're all filthy.
Yeah, basically, yeah. She is like telling these old men how to live, even though they've been living this way for I don't know how long, which is just messed up.
And who knows what kind of diseases they have festering in that household.
Yeah, but she does the whole mom thing where she puts her hands on her hips and she's holding a wooden spoon, which gender roles and gender stereotypes. She could do more than just clean and cook. Right? She could go to the mine and work with them.
Hell, that's 1937.
Yeah. She makes them all go wash. And Grumpy is just like, I'm not fucking washing my hands. This Grumpy reminds me of my grandfather so much for whatever reason. He's like, I'm set in my ways. I'm not doing it. The only way I'm gonna do it is if I die. And instead of him dying, they like tackle him and throw him in the wash basin. Like all of him in the wash basin. So after they scrub Grumpy, we go back to the witch. She's hanging out at her castle. She goes back to her mirror again. She shows her mirror. She like opens the box and she's like, look, her heart. And the mirror's like, no. Snow White's still the prettiest. And she's like, no, that doesn't make sense. Her heart is right here, right? He's like, no, that's a pig's heart. Y'all got fooled. Snow White's hanging out in the cottage with the Seven Dwarfs. So she's pissed off now. Now she's had it. She's like, man, if you want something done right, you're going to have to do it yourself. So she's going to go and do it herself. So she goes into her weird little dungeon thing, which if the king is still alive, man, how does he, I mean, maybe he's not hanging out in the dungeon. I don't know. But she's definitely doing some like alchemy and black magic shit. But she gets mad. So she gets so mad that she's like, you know what? I'm going to disguise myself, which means I'm going to take all of this thing, all of my beauty that I'm so like, I'm so proud of, and I'm just going to get fucking rid of it just to disguise myself. In order to kill this girl, right? She gave up everything that she wanted. And how is she so sure that she can go back to how pretty she is right now?
Because she's a super powerful witch. What do you mean? She literally just turned herself into the ugliest creature ever.
Yeah, if I'm somebody who values beauty, I would never do this. Even if like
I would.
need
Funny
to kill
joke.
somebody. Huh?
Funny joke.
A funny joke.
It's a good prank.
I would never do it. Unless like I don't know, unless she was doing like a TikTok video of like how to make like those totally fake TikTok videos where like people purposely make themselves ugly and then make themselves beautiful. Please, Hannah, you know what I'm talking about.
You mean a transformation video?
Yeah, one of those.
So anyway, you mean what she's doing right now, just transforming herself so she could go get her, not revenge, her prize.
I will have my revenge. I think it's a good idea to disguise yourself that well. No one will ever know it was you.
The whole point is the queen knows if Snow White sees her, Snow White's not going to trust her. She's gonna hide or run away. The queen's not gonna be able to get close to Snow White in her current form, so she needs to transform.
Here's my other thing, right? She transforms and she's like, nobody's gonna recognize me. But as soon as she like tricks Snow White or whatever, the dwarves don't even see that she's the one who tricks Snow White. She just walks out of their house. And as soon as she walks out of their house, they're like, oh, it's her. And they like fucking chase after her.
Because the moral of the story is that ugly people are evil.
All right. Okay, Frankie.
That's what I learned. That's what I learned from Snow White. They saw an ugly woman emerge from their house, and then they're like, well, she obviously did something. Let's kill her.
Let's actually kill her. The queen or the old hag, whatever we want to call her now, she makes the poison apple and it's something sleeping death. Now, when I first watched the movie, when this first came, I was like, she didn't read the fine print. We haven't gotten to that part yet. She did read the fine print. So we go back, and the dwarves are dancing, and they're singing. The song is literally called A Silly Song with Snow White, and they dance. And this is where Dopey gets on top of Sneezy, and like they make a tall person so that they can dance, face to face with Snow White.
Well, one's face to face, one's more like face to thigh.
They do that, they dance or whatever. And then they're like, Snow White, tell me a story. Right after the dancing's over. And they're like, yeah, real story, love story. She's like, yeah, well, there was this princess and a prince. Just basically talking about herself and this prince.
And there was no time for. She had no romance. So
Yeah.
bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on her story. She's lied to them.
So
She
therefore, she knew the prince before the events of this film.
No. All that she's talking about is this one little thing. She says he was so romantic.
He wasn't. He was a criminal.
He was not romantic.
He committed a crime.
Trespassing. Trespassing is romantic for her. But she sings the "Someday My Prince Will Come" thing. It's great. Grumpy is doing what I would be doing if I heard this song in real life. He's like sitting in a corner with his arms crossed, just like staring at the corner and being like, this is fucking stupid.
Because he hates women.
Me too.
Whoa!
And
Hannah and I are gonna isolate that sound and just leak it out there.
Hannah is going to come punch you.
I'm a woman. I don't hate women.
But you said it.
I apologize.
We caught you.
My fan base.
It's very unfeminist of you.
I suck so bad.
Cancel Amanda.
Yep. Let's cancel me. So she sings the song, and then the alarm clock goes off. Sorry, it's not an alarm clock. It's a cuckoo clock. And they're like, bedtime. And then Doc has this brilliant idea. You sleep upstairs, right? You who trespassed and like did all this stuff, you sleep upstairs. We're gonna sleep down here where there's nothing.
But they're letting her live there now, so it's fine.
They're being good hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so once she goes upstairs, they all fight for this pillow and then destroy this fucking pillow. Poor Dopey, man. He was smart. He was going for it. Back to the queen. She's making an apple. She makes the apple. Of course, it's a signature apple with the fun little skull on it. This is where she finds, like, the fine print. She's like, oh, is there an antidote? So, the victim of sleeping death can be revived only by love's first kiss.
Man, imagine if the antidote was just, like, another apple. A second apple.
She wouldn't do it then. But she goes, love's first kiss. Bah, no fear of that. She also saw them, the prince and her, in the courtyard.
And
right?
she saw Snow White fucking run away.
No, she also saw them like swooning over each other while she was on the balcony and he was hanging out down below.
Well, she believes love doesn't actually exist.
No, that's fair. But she was like, no fear of that, and then just fucking dismisses it. Because, and this is, you know what, this is true. Because she's like, the dwarves are going to think she's dead, so they're going to bury her alive, which is fair. Because nowadays we either put people in a coffin.
We're either burning her alive or
Right.
burying her alive.
Right. It's one of the two. She's either getting cremated or she's getting buried alive. So the witch is doing the thing where she's heading out into the forest to go find Snow White. Dwarves are leaving. And they're like, hey, you be careful. Don't let any strangers in or whatever, right? She's sly and everything. And Snow White, like, kisses everybody on the top of the head. Dopey gets kissed twice.
He gets kissed 3 times.
No, twice.
Oh, no, she pushes him away for the... He attempts for a third.
Yeah, he does try a third time. And each time, you know, he tries to, like, get a full-on kiss on the mouth from this 14-year-old. It's kind of gross. And then Grumpy comes on. First, he, like, fixes his hat in the mirror. He's like, I'm gonna fix my hat, make sure I look good. And then he's like, nah, I'm gonna look like I don't give a shit, even though I just fixed my hat, and I'm gonna walk out. And he's just marching, and she's like, goodbye, goodbye. And he keeps going, so that she'll notice him. And then she's like, oh my god, Grumpy, you do care. Because he's like, don't let anybody in the house. She kisses him on the head. He gets, like, all this, like, cute little face going on. Then he, like, walks into a tree, gets his nose stuck.
Now he's a woman lover. Now he loves women.
Then he falls into a river. Trying to get out of the little creek or river thing, he hits his head off of the bridge. So he's just being fucked up. The witch is coming. Snow White's making some pies with each of their names on it, which, that's effort. I will say. Trying to make a pie, just one, a homemade pie, homemade crust and everything, that's not an easy task. And then she also spells their name with the extra dough, like each of their names. So they each get a full-on pie. Frankie, can you eat a full-on pie?
No, but that's my dream. I'd like to have someone make me just a full pie for myself.
With your name on it?
I don't even need my name on it. I just want my own individual pie.
Oh, you just want your own pie. Is that what you want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Do you have a certain type of pie you would like?
I'm a big fan of almost every pie. I don't like meringue or coconut.
I was going to say, he doesn't like coconut and he doesn't like meringue. We had this conversation when I bought him a piece of pie. Because we went to a place that had good pie. And I was like, how do you feel about meringue and coconut? By the way, Hannah, Frankie knows the answer to this. Do you know what the 5 types of pie are?
Cream, fruit,
meat.
Is meringue one?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know the 5th.
Frankie, you said the 5th.
I said the 5th?
You did.
I don't remember what Hannah said.
I got the big ones. Cream, fruit, meat, meringue.
I don't remember the 5th one.
Fuck. I can't think of it now.
I didn't think there were 5. I thought there were only 4.
No, I'm pretty sure there's... So, it's not meat. It's savory.
It's just savory, yeah.
Yeah.
Same difference.
And then custard. That's the one.
Okay.
That was what I was thinking of. All right. Moving on. So the queen shows up, scares the freaking crap out of her by showing up through the window and is like, oh, you making pies? Why don't you use this apple?
What if Snow White did make an apple pie and fed it to the dwarves?
They're all dead and she's going down for multiple counts of manslaughter.
That is the new ending I want.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. That could totally happen because she only needs to take just one bite of that apple. So one bite of that pie, man, they're screwed. The queen tries to give her the apple, and all of these birds just start, like, attacking the queen. You'd think Snow White would be like, maybe the animals are trying to tell me something.
No.
Instead, she's just like, hey, stop it, shoot, be nice to the old lady. Poor things, man. They're getting yelled at for trying to say, I'd stop trying. Hey, I tried to help you. You told me to go away and shoot because I'm being mean. Fuck you. You're gonna eat the apple. Instead, they're not as spiteful as me, and they run off toward the dwarves. The turtle also runs off towards the dwarves. None of the animals stay to watch what happens. I would at least, if I was in charge of the animals, I'd be like, one of you has to stay and watch what happens. so you can give us a full report later. So the animals get to the dwarves, and they're like pulling and tugging. The dwarves are like, what is going on with these animals? And they're just like, man, they're crazy or whatever. Until I think it's Sneezy mentions, maybe the queen got to Snow White. And then they're all like, oh my god, that's probably why. And Grumpy, fucking cool as shit, he's like, come on, man. And he hops on this deer and just fucking takes off. I didn't know deer were that fast. Did you?
Yes.
I've seen deer run. They're pretty fast.
I haven't. I also live in the city now, so
Okay, well, I live right near some woods, so you come hang out at my house and wait for some deer to run through.
I've never seen deer at your house run. I've just seen Truffles and Waffles bark at them. Let me rephrase. I've seen an adult Truffles bark at them, and I've seen a tiny baby Waffles bark at them.
And now Waffles is bigger than Truffles.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sleeping peacefully right at my feet. And he was dreaming earlier, and it was so freaking cute.
Does he move his little legs when he dreams?
Yeah, he was like running.
Anyway, Snow White eats the apple and she falls over. You don't see her actually fall, but you do see her arm just like drop and the apple rolls from her hand. So she's obviously dead. I don't know why Disney decided not to show that, because they showed a knife and a dagger and a bunch of other scary shit. Why not a fake dead body?
Because the arm and apple falling out of hand is more cinematic.
Yeah, it's art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she falls, the witch cackles. As she leaves the house, we talked about this. The dwarves are just like, it has to be her, and start chasing her. Okay.
Because ugly people are villains in Disney.
The cute
Meanwhile-
forest animals told them.
Meanwhile, the vultures, who've just been hanging out this entire film, finally start like flying towards the queen. They're like, we know what's gonna happen. Are these vultures like predicting the future here?
Yeah,
Why not?
I think it's a nice little artistic piece of like vultures are always around dead bodies. So
And then the queen tries to make a boulder fall on the dwarves, but she fucks up and it falls on her instead. And lightning
Nice.
crashes, and the boulder falls on her when the lightning crashes and destroys the rock. So not only does she die from the
Dwayne
fall-
Johnson got destroyed.
Yeah.
Damn.
I
So
also didn't know Dwayne Johnson killed the evil queen.
yeah. Everybody write that down. Go bombard Dwayne The Rock Johnson's Twitter page. Nice job for killing the evil queen. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. Not only does this queen die from the fucking fall, which I think would kill anybody, but on top of just being dead from the fall, she gets crushed by the boulder. So she's just double dead. Which honestly is not my favorite way the queen dies in any of the Snow White fairy tales. My favorite way the queen dies, and I know Disney couldn't do this because this is kind of fucked up. Instead of the evil queen, right, the evil queen feeds her the apple, the evil queen escapes. However, once the prince wakes Snow White up and they go back to his castle, they invite the queen, Snow White's stepmom, to their
Oh,
wedding.
you're going like OG death.
Oh, yeah. They invite
Okay.
her to the wedding. Once she gets to the wedding, her punishment, they make her dance in these hot coal iron shoes that they have heated up until she dies.
All right, calm down, Jigsaw. I didn't know.
That's really fitting, though, right? And it shows.
Is it?
And it shows.
That doesn't. Whoa, the punishment doesn't fit the crime there.
What are you talking about?
She gave her a poison to put her in an endless sleep, and Snow White's response is, "All right, dance in these hot iron shoes until you die."
I think that's great, and it shows that Snow White is spiteful and holds grudges.
Well, in the original, does the queen also try to kill her like 3 times?
I
The
think
lace, the
so.
comb, and then the apple.
Just
Yeah,
stab her.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
Okay, so the punishment fits the crime more so.
There's no
in
need
the
to
original.
torture. All right.
I don't know. That'd be really funny.
I mean, it was some premeditated murder.
Yeah, this woman, literally, I mean, I'm just saying, it would have been really fun to see it animated.
Yeah, that's what they want to show the little kids.
We can justify the huntsman almost killing her, but we draw the line at hot iron shoes.
We couldn't have just seen like we couldn't have just gotten like the cinematic thing of like just the shoes being like heated up on like the fire and then
No, that's
putting it in front of
still
the queen.
that's
And then
still
that was it.
horrifying.
Cut
So
to Snow White's face with a crazed grin.
dwarves come back after the queen falls off the cliff and they're all crying. Even Grumpy is sobbing his eyes out.
Yeah, he had a redemption
Character
arc.
development.
Also, there's 7 of them.
Yeah.
Why didn't one of them stay home with her?
Because they have to work. They have jobs, unlike a princess.
And all of the animals are outside of the house in the rain crying as well. Why didn't they let the animals inside the house? That
'Cause you
feels like
can't.
a punishment because they weren't able to get to her in time.
You can't let all those animals in that house.
You totally can.
You're gonna have to deal with deer poop, bird poop, squirrel poop. It's just too much. They couldn't even clean themselves. You think they're gonna clean the house of all that? No.
Here's my thing that's going to counter this whole they have to work thing. There comes the script. It's not read out to us. We have to read it ourselves. It says, so beautiful even in death that the dwarves could not find it in their hearts to bury her. They fashioned a coffin of glass and gold and kept eternal vigil at her side.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, people grieve in different ways, Amanda.
The prince, who had searched far and wide, heard of the maiden who slept in the glass coffin. He was searching far and wide for this maiden? Or like just
Any maiden would do.
that's so confusing to me. Like, was he looking for Snow White and he was like, oh yeah, it might be this girl who's in the coffin? Or was he just like, yo, I heard of this really pretty girl who's like dead, but she's in a glass coffin. You should totally check her out.
I think he was looking for any maiden in a coffin.
Specifically in the coffin.
Yeah.
Specifically in
the coffin.
She's in the coffin. They take off the glass hood of it or whatever. And Prince comes and he's singing the one song thing again. And the dwarves just let him walk up to her. I mean, he is a prince or whatever. But they let him kiss a seemingly dead body.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That's a major red flag.
I'd question it.
Fucked.
I'd at least question if I was one of them.
Yeah. They just
what's
let it
going on?
happen. They just let it happen. And instead of questioning, they just kneel down. And then, of course, she wakes up. And everything's great and everything's dandy. And they start dancing. And the prince starts carrying her off to his horse and whatever. This girl's 14. And
How old's old Ferdy?
I don't know. Somebody look it up.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
So anyway, she says goodbye to the dwarves, which the dwarves did a fucking lot for her. They didn't bury her. If I was her, they'd be getting like some special digs at my palace.
All right. I've found it. We have 2 different ages here.
Okay, give it to me.
Some say he was 18.
Oh.
Oh, well, it gets worse, kids.
Oh no.
But most people believe he was 31.
What?
Oh.
Not even in his 20s.
No.
30s.
Oh, Disney, no. Oh no.
How old is the prince in Snow White? 31.
Oh no.
I mean, isn't this back in the age where Charlie Chaplin like married a bunch of young girls too? I'm not saying that that's good at all, but I'm saying that I'm guessing it was normalized back then. Oh, I'm grossed out. The 18 thing really bothered me. The 31 thing, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
That's the worst age gap in any of the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
There's a list online that has it, and that's the worst one. The next one is like closest is only a 10-year age gap.
Who
Oh,
is that?
only a 10-year
Do you want to
age
guess? Do
gap.
you want to guess who it is?
Cinderella?
Incorrect. It is
Rapunzel.
no.
Sleeping Beauty.
Incorrect. Once again, wrong.
Little Mermaid.
Nope.
Jasmine.
Nope. You're
Beauty
not
and the
gonna get
Beast.
it. You're not gonna get it. No.
Anna and Kristoff?
No. I will tell you this. I'll give you a hint, maybe. All
Okay.
right.
Mhm.
It's reverse. The girl is older than the guy.
And it's a Disney princess.
No, it's not a Disney princess. It's just age gaps in
Oh,
Disney
it's
couples.
Hercules.
It is Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules is
Oh.
only 18 and Meg is 28.
I'm not.
That's legal.
I'm okay with that one.
The only other one that I can find that is like the next one that I can find is not age of major, like you're not legal,
Mm-hmm.
is Beauty and the Beast. Bella's 17 and the Beast is 21.
I don't like it, but it's not Snow White.
Yeah,
The-
this one's bad.
Also with Sleeping Beauty, Aurora is 16 and Philip is 20.
That one I feel like might be a little bit worse.
Ariel is 16 and Eric is 18.
I'm a little okay with that.
And then the other one you guessed, Aladdin is 18 and Jasmine is 15.
Nope.
But this one is by far the worst.
Yeah, this is very bad.
Disney, do better.
Please do better.
Do a lot better. Make
Anyway,
all
so
your
they've been
characters adults, please.
yeah, why is it that in every Disney movie too, it's always like, I'm 16. I totally know what I'm doing.
'Cause
When I
all
was
teenagers are like
16
that.
Yeah, when I was 16, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
But did you think you knew what you were doing?
Absolutely
absolutely.
not. I was self-aware as a 16-year-old. I knew
I
that
was
what
not.
I was doing was not good.
Mhm. No, I was not self-aware to that extent.
Anyway, so the prince and Snow White walk to his gleaming castle in the sky or whatever, which makes me think that she actually is dead
Fair.
because it looks
Fair.
like heaven.
That's
kind of.
just what Spain looks like.
That's just what Spain looks like.
So we're going from like, isn't this supposed to be set in like Denmark or something?
I don't know.
Germany, Denmark.
I think it's Germany.
She wears clogs. I know that.
It is Germany, I think.
Germany, okay. Oh yeah, so you can
Yeah,
totally see
because you
Spain.
can meet her in Germany in Epcot.
I was going off the fact she wore clogs.
And that's it for Snow White. So some issues that I have.
Or just some. Just a
the
few.
evil stepmother trope. They make stepmothers seem like bad people. So I'm not the best person to comment on this, but I don't think all stepmothers are evil. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think all stepmothers are evil either, but
I think most stepmoms are probably pretty cool.
but I think it's easier as a storytelling device, especially back then, to have someone, especially back then where the family was so, the nuclear family was so revered.
That's true.
It's easier to have the audience be upset about the stepmother
Than
than
the actual mom.
than viewing the actual mom being this evil.
Also, lack of diversity.
I'm gonna point something out to you.
Everybody was right. White.
It's the 1930s. Hey,
I'm
if
given
if-
some of
We're
my
gonna have
takeaways.
this issue for a long time.
Yeah,
Covering every Disney film.
if that's your issue, man, Princess and the Frog is a long way off.
Aladdin shows up in there.
Okay, so you have to get to the 90s.
Yeah, well.
That's a long way from the 30s.
You're not
Marrying somebody
born
that
yet.
you don't know. They know nothing about each other. They spoke like
they know they can
twice.
sing.
They know they sing, and that's it.
He knows
they
that
need.
the animals love her.
That's a good sign too. If animals
Mm-hmm.
like somebody,
It's just a very superficial relationship. Non-consensual kissing. Not only that, he's kissing a dead person.
yeah, that's necrophilia. That's a crime.
Also-
That's his second crime.
Also, she's a minor.
She is a
She's
minor.
14 years old and dead.
He just took this liberty while she was comatose to plant this like big wet one on her.
This man's committing a lot of crimes.
A lot of them.
This man should be forced to dance in hot shoes
At his wedding.
at his wedding. Yeah.
Beauty above all else, right? This is such a major theme, right?
Because if you're not number one, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Second is the first loser.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, of course, and I'm sure Hannah thought that I was going to mention this, the stupid damsel in distress trope. This movie set women back so many years.
Wow, so we're gonna have 40 more years of you complaining about that trope as well.
I don't like it. Women don't have to be like this damsel. Right? I can if I really, really wanted to act like that, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm acting like a damsel in distress, it's just to like, because I'm lazy and I don't want to do something. And even then, it's more of like, hey, can you help me? I don't know if I'm distressed. That's my take on Snow White. Frankie, do you have any comments since you
Well,
did watch?
I don't really have any comments. The only comment I would add is the climax feels a bit rushed. The ending of that movie.
It was very
It
rushed.
just like they're just like fuck. We gotta end it. Go.
I feel like the beginning, right? The character building and everything, so involved, so in depth. And then they were just like, well, we got to kill the queen now. How long did the climax of the movie last? Like a minute?
Maybe,
2?
yeah.
That is
I-
my take on Snow White.
I have a question for you then, Amanda.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And this is probably a question I should have asked before we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna do some background business now instead.
Okay.
Are you gonna rank these movies?
I'm going to rank them.
Yeah.
Rank
keep-
all the Disney films
I'll
ever.
keep a running tab. I'll keep it running.
Well, okay.
So number one Disney film, Snow White. It's the best Disney film of all time. Currently.
It's
right
also the worst Disney film of all time.
Yeah, it's the best and the worst.
Yeah. All right. If
Now-
you want me to rank these, as long as you keep score of this, you keep a tally of this,
I'll keep a tally.
I'll do it.
I also have 2 more questions then adding on to this.
Oh God.
Two more ranking systems I gotta ask you about.
Okay.
Because do you want to rank the protagonists and or the antagonists of these movies?
Yes. Yes, I will.
All right. So best Disney protagonist, also Snow White. And best Disney antagonist, she's just the queen, right? That's her name?
The queen, the evil queen, yeah.
I'll put
Also
the
the
queen
hag.
and
Yeah,
in
put the
parentheses
queen.
Snow White so I know
Yeah.
what movie it is. There we go. There we have it. I'm excited for this project.
There's
I
something
do have
I'm
some.
surprised you didn't bring up, Amanda.
Huh?
There is something I'm surprised you didn't bring up.
What?
The ableism.
Oh,
Like specifically towards Dopey.
yeah. I didn't even think about it, and it was in my notes. How did I go past this?
I don't know because every time it's like we're picking on Dopey and it's like
He gets bullied a lot.
Yeah,
and,
he
and
can't
his
talk.
name is Dopey. That's
Uh-huh.
mean. That's real mean.
Well, they can't talk. I mean, he can't talk, and I think the dwarf said in the thing, they're like, "Can he not talk?" And I think one of them is like, "He don't know. He hasn't tried."
Doesn't
I
like to
don't-
talk.
Yeah,
He's
maybe he
nonverbal. He's
doesn't
just
like to
nonverbal.
talk. Maybe he is actually mute. I don't know. Why are we picking on Dopey? Why is he always the one that has
Who
to?
named him?
Yeah. Speaking of which, are all of the dwarves like related?
That's always what I thought.
Yeah, I thought they were all brothers. Dopey is obviously like the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some fun facts. I got this book at Disney when I was at Disney. Do you know that on June 28th, 1987, Snow White was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I feel like I knew she had a Walk of Fame star, but I didn't know the date.
Did you know that, Frankie?
I didn't know that. I don't pay attention to the stars.
The Queen is ranked 10th among villains on the American Film Institute's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains list.
Well, they're wrong. We've already determined she's number 1. So
The Queen also never has any screen time with Snow White. It's only when she's disguised as a witch that she's seen to interact.
Well, I mean, that is screen time with Snow White. I don't know. Who wrote this book? Did they watch the movie?
I think Disney wrote this book. The prince was meant to play a larger part in the film, but his role was later diminished.
Was he going to be as creepy as he was in the
Creepier.
rest of the film?
I don't know. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. Dopey, who is also the only dwarf without a beard, Dopey was considered for the part of the Sorcerer's Apprentice in Fantasia before the role went to Mickey Mouse.
Mickey was like, no.
I think that's really funny. And that's all the fun facts that I have. How was this? How was this movie review?
I had fun.
It was fun.
Was it?
It was. I enjoy Disney, and I haven't watched Disney films in quite some time. And I still have not rewatched Snow White because I didn't watch it for this episode. But it was fun hearing you describe it.
I can't wait to get to some ones that I haven't watched before.
Pinocchio.
I've
I
watched
was
Pinocchio.
supposed to know Pinocchio's next, and I fucking dreaded watching Pinocchio.
I've watched Pinocchio before.
It scared me as a kid so much. I was afraid I was going to turn into a donkey.
You
So,
still might. You still might.
shut up.
I don't think I've sat through Pinocchio, like the whole film. I think
Isn't it? It's short, right?
It's short.
It's an hour and 30 or something.
An hour 30? What, are you sure?
Oh, no wonder I've never sat through the whole thing.
Let me double check. I have Disney. Plus on my
I
phone.
know. It's an hour 45. I know what I'm thinking
Oh
of.
my goodness.
I know what movie I'm thinking of. Never mind.
What movie are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Dumbo. Dumbo's only like less. Dumbo's like less than an hour.
It is. And Dumbo makes me cry every fucking time. Fucking baby mine, unnecessary. Frankie, whenever we get to Dumbo, you're watching that shit with me.
With you?
Yeah, I'm not crying on my own.
All right.
Plus, you come over to my house always right before we record.
That's true.
So, if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be you. Because Hannah can't sit through my tears. She just like pats me with a broom. It's like,
With a
That is true.
broom.
I am
She
not
has done that
emotionally
before.
available for anyone.
Hmm.
Whenever we were roommates in college, if I ever cried, she would like get something that was long and just pat me. It was
I
like,
stood as far away as possible and patted you with the tips of my fingers.
mm-hmm.
And then I gave you food because I didn't know what else to do.
Food is the best remedy.
I gave her Nutella.
Yeah, it was always Nutella.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, my dear audience, our dear audience, comes the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed my explaining in detail of this movie.
I enjoyed it. Let's take care of business real quick. Wrap up.
Okay.
Remember to subscribe to us on wherever you get your podcasts and wherever you're listening to us. And leave us a 5-star review.
5 stars only.
5 stars only on the official things. If you would like to leave a review of any other star, send us an email.
That is nothing to see here podcast@gmail.com. And remember, that's here spelled HEAR.
And if you want to send us an email with suggestions on what we can do for the show, any questions you have for us, any comments you have on any of our previous episodes or this one, be sure to do that as well. Be sure to follow us on Instagram.
Nothing to see here pod.
And share us with all of your friends.
Share us with your family.
Not my stepmom.
Play this when you leave the house for your pets.
Yes, let your dogs and cats and birds and fish and all your other pets listen to us. They love us. We love them.
And then any other plugs?
You can check out my literary blog at readinghasruinedmylife.com. I do book reviews every Wednesday at noon.
And you can check out my other podcast on YouTube and Spotify. We are the Pack Rats, PACRATS.
Should we drop some more hints for our 7th episode?
Yeah, drop another hint.
We already said that what we're going to cover spans generations. It spans decades.
spans decades with movies and TV shows and video games.
Mm-hmm.
Any kind of media you can think of.
Oh, it has some absolute bangers for soundtracks.
That was the
Mhm.
second hint.
Yes.
There's an animal.
There's an animal involved. Yes.
There is a really good animal. A 10 out of 10 good boy.
Also, multiple animals.
Multiple
Depending
animals.
on
But only one truly, really matters.
so
One iconic animal.
Mm-hmm.
very iconic.
The most iconic.
Um,
And we'll have a new episode tomorrow.
Frankie, do you want to drop some hints to what you're
I
covering?
I have no idea what we're gonna cover. So
Oh, a mystery.
it will be a mystery. It's a mystery to me right now. So
Jesus.
Wow.
I swear,
This-
Frankie, you better show up and you better give us a good time.
all right. Well, is there anything else we'd like to say before we say goodbye?
I'm good.
All right. Well then, goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow for day 6
Getting down there.
of our first
almost the
weekly
end.
upload.
Hey,
It's
Frankie. Okay, guess what?
what?
Day 6 is a K-pop band.
Thank you. Yeah, join us for day 6 of our daily uploads before we transition to a weekly podcast.
Mhm.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.